Hi guys, and welcome to this month's update. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to give you the top 10 cities in terms of growth in the UK. If you're familiar with my channel already, I usually do a monthly update on the whole of the UK, and I break that down by regions, by the regions of the UK. But you guys want details, so I'm going to talk about specific cities, the top 10 cities. So if you're looking to invest in property, or if you're looking to buy perhaps in a different city to live in, this is going to give you an idea of which cities in the UK are on fire. These cities have had their Weetabix, they've taken the heart-shaped herb, and they're running away with the pack. So let's get straight into this. This report is courtesy of Zoopla. They partner up with a company called HomeTrack to produce this. And what I want to concentrate on this list is the top 10. I'm really going to concentrate on the top 3 to be honest, but I want to show you the top 10 and then drill down into the top 3, which are Liverpool, Manchester and Sheffield. We're going to see really what's driving this growth. What is driving this explosive growth in these cities? And can we perhaps infer where this might happen elsewhere in the UK? Can we spot these trends that have happened in these top 3 elsewhere in other cities and almost predict what's going to happen and invest wisely? It's still a great idea, by the way, guys, to invest in these cities now. I really don't think that the growth in these is done. In fact, far from it, guys. I myself own properties in 2 of these top 3 in Sheffield and Liverpool, mainly because you can see price-wise, the average price of a property is still very affordable compared to Manchester, where the average price has increased, but still very cheap relative to other cities, especially in the southeast. So let's zoom out for a sec and see where these cities are specifically in the UK. Now, what I want to draw your attention to is these pins. Basically, it's showing you, it corresponds to this table here. First place you have Liverpool, second place Manchester, third place Sheffield, and so on and so forth. You can actually see where these cities are via these pins on the map. So as I said, we're going to have a look at the top 10 and concentrate on the top 3 in particular. So if I zoom in a bit, you've got first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and 10th, basically in the Midlands. I think fourth is Belfast in Northern Ireland, and you've got 9 and 8th, which is Cardiff and Bournemouth in the southwest of England. But essentially 7 out of the 10 are in the Midlands. And interestingly, you'll see that in the southeast, where London is the quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes not to offend other people in the rest of the UK, but the capital, the main city of the UK in the southeast, growth isn't really happening there. It's predominantly as we go up north. Now, what is going on up north, guys? What is going on up north? Well, to answer that question, we need to zoom out further than the last 18 months. As you know from my monthly update videos, I focus on how property prices are changing month to month, and a lot of that has been driven by the global health pandemic and also government policy such as the stamp duty holiday and the 95% mortgage guarantee scheme. If we zoom out beyond that and look at government policy over the last 5 to 10 years, the government has purposefully tried to rebalance the way the UK economy works. What do I mean by that? Well, let's have a quick look at this article. Basically, guys, London and the southeast over contributes in terms of proportion to the UK economy. So a lot of the money, goods, services generated by the UK economy is concentrated in London. In fact, there are some stats on this. Here's some data for the Office of National Statistics via City AM. London contributes almost a quarter of the UK economy, which is crazy when you consider all of the cities that there are in the UK and how people are spread out across the UK. And obviously, you know, capital cities tend to disproportionately contribute to the economy. So if you was in America, say for example, the equivalent would be New York. If you was in France, the equivalent would be Paris, and so on and so forth. So what the government is trying to do is trying to rebalance things. They're essentially trying to bring this number down and increase the contributions from regions such as the West Midlands, East Midlands, and the Northwest. And you can see it through this initiative called the Northern Powerhouse. I'm not going to go into detail, but essentially the Northern Powerhouse is about boosting the economy up north. So we're talking about the Midlands and the Northwest and those types of areas to increase the level of skills of the people in those regions, because a lot of those towns and cities in the north, traditionally, I'm talking decades ago, specialized in industries such as mining and the extraction of raw materials, coal, steel, which aren't as prevalent in the UK post the Industrial Revolution. Our economy is now moving into a services economy. So think of things like tech, IT, banking, accountancy, law, etc. So what they're trying to do is increase the skills by investing in these regions, innovation, transport and culture. Transport is a big one, guys. Think of HS2. The reason, well, one of the primary reasons for HS2 is to link the cities in the north so that they can trade with each other, so that people can move from city to city in that region and generate a more thriving economy. And again, you can see these broken down here. So we're talking about things like ideas, infrastructure, as I just mentioned, business, investing in people, and making it a genuinely nice place to live in. So let's bring that back to property. As this investment has gone on over the decades and is ramping up, what you're seeing is more people basically buying up property in these regions, the overall incomes of these regions increasing, and as people thrive, as the economy grows, guys, so too does property prices. It's really important to understand this linkage between the economy, between infrastructure, between business and jobs and property prices. They go together like fish and chips. So that's why you're seeing this clustering of the top 10 around this region, because a lot of money is being invested in this region. So let's now narrow down onto the top 3. We're talking Liverpool, Manchester and Sheffield. So as we mentioned before, the average prices are very low compared to London. Look at this. The average price of a property in London is just over 490,000. Manchester is under half that. Sheffield and Liverpool around about a third of that. As you can see in this column here, the year-on-year growth is phenomenal. Liverpool close to 10%, Manchester close behind at 8%, and Sheffield at 7.6%. So this is a 12 months up until now. Now what I want to do is give you guys a quick hack. This is a really important metric to pay attention to, which a lot of people gloss over. Speaking of hacks, by the way, guys, I've created a free property ebook that summarizes how buying and investing in property works in really simple terms. It explains things like the stages of buying a property, the costs of buying, and many other valuable bits of information. It's completely free to download at the link in the description below. It's easy to follow and perfect for people just getting started in property. So grab your downloadable copy for free. And now back to the video. What you want to do in really simple terms is focus on the gradient or the steepness of these bars. Let's take a moment to compare Liverpool, say, to Manchester, and I'm going to make this even bigger so that you can see it really well. Now what I hope you guys can notice is that Manchester increases in steepness up until around about here, these two bars here, and then it's starting to taper off. What is this telling us, guys? So it's telling us that growth, perhaps, and I'm not Mystic Meg, I'm not a clairvoyant, but it's telling us that perhaps we have reached the peak of Manchester. And by the way, guys, Manchester's been growing for close to a decade now. I was in Manchester back in 2008. Gives you an idea of how old I am, but also what I saw. I saw all of these houses, all of this growth. I was there while these were being built, guys. It was very interesting to see. Anyway, back to the point. So what we're seeing now is a decrease. Not to say that Manchester still isn't growing, but perhaps it's on its way down. And perhaps when we compare it to a city like Liverpool, Liverpool looks to still be growing. You haven't seen this drop off, a consistent few bars of dropping off going downwards yet. So if you were deciding between the two, I absolutely would happily invest in either Liverpool or Manchester right now. But if you put a gun to my head, I would buy another property in Liverpool, because these trends, the annual trend seems to suggest that there's still more growth to come. And also perhaps in Sheffield. One other thing that I usually pay attention to, guys, is the numbers. Now, there's always going to be differentials in numbers. The average price of a property in Manchester may not ever reach the same as a property in London, because they're just two completely different cities. The demographics are different, the setup of the cities is different, what's going on in the cities is different. So I don't expect Manchester to have property prices of £490,000 anytime soon. However, what I do is compare a city like Manchester to Liverpool. They're pretty much next to each other, guys. They're similar, and you know, Sheffield is close by as well. So when I see a price of 137,000, I fully expect the average price of Liverpool property to reach a similar level to what's going on in Manchester soon. So that tells me that there's still growth to go, and feeds into my theory that there's more to come. And for me personally, I would rather invest in Liverpool right now and Sheffield right now than Manchester. Also from an affordability perspective as well, guys, right? If you can get more growth for less money for the equivalent property, it's just a no-brainer, guys. So that was just a quick hack from me. Do with it what you will. Let me know actually in the comment section if you find that useful, if you agree or disagree. I always like to hear your opinions, guys. So guys, that was my first video into the top 10 cities in the UK. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there. I really want this to be more of an introduction into how these videos are going to go. Let me know if you found it useful. Each week, what I might do is just focus on a different city. I won't always focus on Liverpool, Manchester and Sheffield because you probably will get bored of that. I will cover these cities. I will show you in more detail what's going on in them, what kind of initiatives, what kind of policies of regeneration activities are going on in them. Because if you know what specific areas or what specific cities have regeneration going on and planned in the next 5 to 10 years, you might think about investing now to benefit from that growth that you know is very likely to come off the back of that regeneration in the future. So guys, please do leave a comment, and I hope to see you guys soon.